Materials, metals and non-metals. Introduction to metals and non-metals. Look at this woman. She's preparing food for her family in an aluminium utensil and is continuously stirring the food with the help of a wooden spoon. Oh! Why did the lady's hand get burnt when she accidentally touched the aluminium vessel? All this while, she used the wooden spoon. Why did she not feel the heat? Well, this is because the utensil is made of aluminium, which is a metal, and wood is a non-metal. Metals can conduct heat. It is a property of metals. Non-metals cannot conduct heat and is a property of non-metals. Metals and non-metals can be separated into two distinct groups based on their properties. Properties can be physical and chemical. Let us study some of the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Hardness. Look at this man cutting an iron rod with a hacksaw blade. He has been able to cut the iron rod into two. Well, the man took some time to cut the rod and had to apply muscle power. Now, let us cut a different metal, but with a kitchen knife. Surprised? Do you think metals cannot be cut with a knife? Have a look. Metals like sodium, potassium can be cut with a knife. However, metals like iron cannot be cut with a knife, but with a hacksaw blade. Metals are hard substances. But different metals have different levels of hardness. Now, let us try to cut a piece of coal. It will crumble into pieces. Coal is a non-metal, but though it is solid, it does not possess the property of hardness. Non-metals are not hard substances. So, hardness is a property that separates metals from non-metals. But there are exceptions. Mercury is a metal, but it exists in liquid state and is not hard. Diamond is a non-metal, but it is the hardest material on earth. Malleability. Gold jewelry has a variety of beautiful design patterns. But have you ever wondered how they have been given different shapes? This is because metals like gold and silver can be bent and shaped as desired. Metals like iron and aluminium can also be beaten into sheets. We all are aware that aluminium foil is used to wrap food, and silver foil is used to decorate sweets. This property of metals, by which they can be beaten into thin sheets, is called malleability. Non-metals on beating do not bend, but they break. Non-metals are not malleable. So, we can say that metals are malleable, whereas non-metals are non-malleable. Ductility. Have you observed the electrical wires in your house? All these wires are made of metals like copper, aluminium, etc. These metals can be drawn into wires. Metals are ductile. Non-metals like coal and sulfur cannot be drawn into thin wires, and hence they are non-ductile. So we can say that metals are ductile and non-metals are non-ductile. Conduction of heat and electricity. The vessels that your mother uses to cook food in the kitchen are made of metals like copper, aluminium, brass, etc. Metals are excellent conductors of heat and help in cooking the food faster. Now look at this tawa. The handle of the tawa has a wooden covering. Wood is a bad conductor of heat. So the heat is not transferred from the metal tawa to the wood. We cannot imagine a single day without electricity. The wires through which electricity flows are made of metals like copper, aluminium, etc. Metals are good conductors of electricity. Non-metals like coal, sulfur, etc. are poor conductors of electricity. So, we conclude that metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, whereas non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Lustre. Silver utensils are very fragile and can quickly develop tarnish stains or scratches. Now look how these silver utensils are shining brightly. Metals, when polished, their surface reflects light. This is a property of metals and is called metallic lustre. Now, if we try to polish a coal which is a non-metal, it will not shine no matter how hard we try to polish it. Non-metals like carbon and sulfur do not reflect light and hence do not have lustre. So, we can say that metals have a metallic lustre, whereas non-metals do not have any metallic lustre. Diamond is the only non-metal which has lustre. Sonority. Hear this bell. It is made of metals, copper and tin. All metals produce a sound when struck which is full, deep or rich. The metals producing ringing sounds are said to be sonorous. Now, if we hit a wood, will there be a sound? Yes, there is a sound, but it is a thud. It is not a sonorous sound. So, we see that a sonority is a property that separates metals from non-metals. Let us summarize what we have learned today. Physical properties of metals are: metals are hard substances and the hardness differs from metal to metal. Metals have a metallic luster. Metals are sonorous. Metals are malleable and ductile. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Physical properties of non-metals are: non-metals do not possess the property of hardness. Non-metals do not have a metallic luster. Non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity.